Hello, my friends, and thank you again for joining us. Just a heads up, this is part 2 of a conversation about the section of wool called proper gauge. If you missed the previous conversation, I do highly recommend you go back and listen to it because we cover a lot in that first part. If you have already heard it, buckle up. There's a lot to discuss here, and we'll see you at the other end. Enjoy. Welcome to Shelf Indulgence, where stories come alive in conversation. I'm Remy, your host and first-time reader, turning the pages alongside each guest as they revisit a book that has left its mark on them. Together, we linger over passages, chase down themes, and wander through the margins of a story worth revisiting. Whether you're turning the pages for the first time with me or revisiting a favorite alongside my guest, I'm glad you've joined us on this journey. We get the utter distaste for Marnes for IT. And I'm guessing more specifically for Bernard, because it seems that they have something of a history.
The way he steps between Jahns and Bernard later, hand on his gun. Love it. Like, what's their history there? Like, what's he know or what's he seen Bernard do that makes him have this distaste for him? And that's before he likely murdered Jahns.
Yeah, the woman he loves. Yeah, I feel like Marnes is going to be on a bit of a tear in the next section. But he spits over the railing, which, dude, what the fuck? There are people down there.
Well, I mean, pretty far down. That's probably going to dissipate before it gets down there. But yeah.
Okay, so they're going to get misted with spittle. Great, that's better. Just like, oh man, don't do that. That ain't cool.
Yeah, you're spitting on mechanical, man.
Yeah, right. So later on, she's talking. Who is she talking to? The receptionist outside the gates was different in IT. She expressed her condolences for the recent cleaning, which an odd thing to say, but something Jahns wished she would hear more often. That really brought me back to Holston. Like you kind of forget what the cleaning means and where this all started. I mean, we're only so many chapters in. I've already moved on from Holston. No offense to him, of course. He was a great character, but we're in it now. And the fact that it keeps getting just yanked back in is, I love that he doesn't let you forget about it. I really appreciate that about his writing. He continually reminds you of things, but not in an obnoxious way. Because I've read a lot of books where, like, remember, this is happening. Like, yeah, I know. I remember. But this one, he does it so well and so subtly, and it's so natural. It feels like this is a living world. It really is. And he does a really, really good job at world building. Yeah,
absolutely. I love the world building. It's so good.
Yeah. Then Marnes is bitching about how much space IT has. I really like how much Marnes complains about IT. Like, even after they leave, there's a paragraph of him just grumbling under his breath about Bernard. Tell him, Bernard, or you tell him, Marnes. I picture him 100% as what is that actor's name? Who I just had it in my head. Sam Elliott. 100%.
Oh,
Marnes
yes,
is Sam Elliott,
absolutely.
Right?
I can
I can't see anyone
so
but.
well.
I feel like he had Sam Elliott in his head when he was writing Marnes.
Man, Sam Elliott should have been Marnes in the show. That would have been so good. I like the guy who played Marnes in the show. I think he's got a kind of, he's not a Sam Elliott type, but he definitely kind of has that, you can kind of get that same sort of feel out of it. But anyway.
In a lacquered conference table that was nicer than the one in the mayor's office. And this is also where we're talking about the crisp piece of paper. So basically IT has got everything. They are priority. And
but why? Why is IT priority?
Yeah. Right. Because they're keeping it running, which bullshit. Of all the people, they're the most useless.
Well, yeah, right. Like, what do they really need IT for? I mean, we think about the actual definition of the terms IT, information technology, right? Like, what other than building suits and testing the outside do you need 3 floors for? What do you need these servers?
And why are they using all the electricity and yada yada? There's so many questions. And why do they get first dibs on everything? Because this is one of the problems he has with Jules, is that the requisitions are taking from quote unquote his supply. Like what? Why are they yours? Like if someone's putting a requisition in, they don't belong to anyone, right?
Yeah.
I don't know the politics. I don't know how it works, but that feels like such a petulant child thing to say. They're coming from my department. Like, cute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if that were the case, it's not necessary to bring up. Oh, God, he is an asshat. I don't like him at all. Just every word he drops is just disgust. I've known too many people like him to have any sympathy. Like if he tries to turn this character around and make him a protagonist, I'm going to have a real issue with it. So just putting that up ahead right now.
Oh, I'm so excited for that next part of the podcast when we get to talk about the things that you learn. And I'm curious to know, like, will your opinion of Bernard change the more you learn about him, or are you going to like hate him even more?
Listen, if I find out that he's the one that pulled the trigger on Jahns, he has no shot of redemption. None. But we'll see. He's not the one that filled the water.
You don't think that like he could have a good reason?
I suppose he could, but it's probably nefarious. If he's trying to keep people in, or if he's trying to keep the peace, he's trying to promote his little Peter Billings guy. I mean, this feels like a petulant child throwing a fit and getting revenge.
So you said earlier that you think that he is the one that pulls the strings. Like when I'd asked you if you thought like he was possibly the villain, what do you think his goal is? Do you have a theory of what that is yet?
I think he is. I think I mentioned it earlier. I think that he is potentially. This is crazy thought, but I think that he is potentially amongst the people that are able to leave the silo. I think that behind those closed doors, all that electricity, is it a train? Is it an elevator? Is it something else?
Yeah. You think like he is benefiting by keeping the silo like this? He's benefiting somehow up top or whatever.
He's keeping his experiment alive.
He has some sort of benefit from that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I think that this is potentially an experiment to see, how would he manage to survive in this condition? And this is an experiment, and he's keeping his experiment alive. So regardless what his actual deal is, I really, really like how Jahns lays the law down. She's a bamf, badass. I love her.
Yeah.
She's a great character, and I'm kind of mad at Hugh for killing her. Much like Halston, I want to see her do things, but he's proved himself to be such a good character builder that I trust that I'm going to love Jules just as much.
I do love Jules. So yeah, I mean, plus we already got so much of her already in the short introduction that we've had, like the way she is. So I love the last chapter of the second to last chapter of the section, I guess, or maybe not. I don't know, wherever it was, when Jahns is talking to Jules in the generator room, or like in the control booth, I guess, of the generator room, and how there's this moment she just like looks at her and is like, yeah, this is our man. Like she sees it in her, and she knows like so quickly based on the way Jules is handling the situation and the things she's saying. And I really appreciated that. I felt the same way. Like, yes, Jules is incredible.
Yeah. The more you get to know her, the more you're like, oh, I see why Marnes picked her. Yeah, obviously. She's really, really good at what she does. Well, good at everything, apparently, according to everyone. So they get to the fruits and veg, the nursery area, which I thought was really cool. They mentioned the smell of oranges, and I thought this part was really neat. I really, no pun intended, but I really dug into it. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I appreciate the way that, I know we've talked about it already, but the way that he's just created this world, just this really rich, really palpable world. There's no question in my mind that this exists. It's awesome. It's really, really well done and beautifully presented. And then there's this whole thing about the heist that I was the great heist.
The heist of the century.
Oh my God, that killed me, dude. That was so funny. At first, I'm like, "Ooh, what's this? How interesting!" There was a heist, and then you find it's a damn rabbit that made it from. I don't remember what the floor was, but like it was like 20 floors,
like 4 floors down or something like that.
Yeah, it was something ridiculous, and like no rabbit would ever make it up that far. And somebody obviously brought it. It's just really funny that they said that they ate like a 3 weeks worth of rations or something like that, stole 3 weeks worth of rations. And that tickled me. I thought that was the funniest little tidbit, and how Marnes is all embarrassed about it.
I love it. I love it.
Oh man, that was really fantastic.
Again, great character development and great, relationship building between the two of them, and the way she kind of ribs him a little bit about it.
Right. And that's what I really appreciate about his writing, is that he's really good at those subtleties. He's really good at those little things that make human relationships real, like genuine.
Yeah. I know a lot of writers. I mean, there's basically two big schools of thought on writing, right? You've got I've mapped everything out, and then when I'm writing, I'm intentionally hinting at things, which I think Hugh might do. And then there's I'm going to write and let the characters tell the story, I know Stephen King does, where you just kind of write the story as it comes into your head, like you're just the journalist. Oh, this is a great quote. So I was watching something from James Gunn, about Peacemaker or Superman, and it was like a podcast or something like that. And he comments that he kind of sees himself as journalist of the imagination. And I love that, because the story is just coming out of you, it's in your head, and you're just documenting it. And so I wonder if Hugh is more of that journalist of the imagination, and he lets the story be told, lets these characters develop, and then kind of decides what's going to happen with them throughout the story. Or if he intentionally knows, I want to be building up these characters so this can happen. And I honestly have no idea which way Hugh writes, but I think it probably feels more like he plans everything out. But yeah,
I don't know the end. But you said it was satisfying, so it feels more like that. But I would be curious to know as well.
Yeah.
The rabbit stole a year's salary of greens.
Was it a year? I thought it was a week, but yeah.
No, it's a freaking year's salary. I love that. But the room that they stayed in, or that she stayed in, was tastefully cozy, which I thought was a really nice little descriptor. And it feels like what would be a nursery area, like a really comfortable, cozy little spot. They also mentioned, where was it? A dozen large private enterprises. Okay. We talked about money. We talked about that being crazy. I just wanted to highlight this. That's a lot for, we're guessing, 1,000 people. 12.
Yeah, probably. That's what I would guess as well.
Major enterprises. That's madness. That just made me pause and really think about how could you have 12 booming enterprises within such a small, tight. It feels so wrong. It feels like they're going the opposite direction that they should be.
I mean, you'd need a bunch of different categories of things going on, right? So the different enterprises would be all the different essentials of what you need to have a society exist.
Sure.
I mean, we think about the basics. You've got, shelter, food. Well, that's really it, right? You need shelter and food, and that is what you need to survive. But, a life is more than just surviving. It's also living and being entertained, having community and such. And so a lot of things would be necessary to kind of keep all of that going. We think about all the different professions that are out there, that were just kind of necessary for doing things. You've got the people that are making the stuff, the people who are processing the stuff, the people who are, the lawmakers and the mechanics and the engineers and all the different groupings of people. So yeah, that
makes sense. It's just the whole money thing just kills me. It feels gross.
Oh, I guess, yeah. Enterprises as in the, profit making versus.
Yeah. They call them, here's the quote is, the Upper Gardens were one of just a dozen large private enterprises, the expenses for which would be covered by her office's travel budget. So it just, I don't know. It feels gross. It feels predatory in such a small community.
Because if you have money, if you have a commerce of some sort, that means there can be people within the silo that are going to starve to death because they can't afford to buy the food that they need. Whereas I'd really hope that in a society like this, it would be about making sure everybody survives. I feel like it would be more of like that Star Trek, style where like everybody can eat. Granted, the idea of Star Trek, well, at least in the Orville, which is like the spiritual Star Trek, they talk about how like the food, the matter synthesizers made it so money didn't matter anymore because everybody could get what they needed. And I feel like in a society like this, you would make sure everybody gets what they need because there's so few of you and you're so tightly, together. Yeah. And I just feel like it would make more sense to not have to worry about money. So that's a really interesting point. And I think that just feeds more into our theory about this being such a commentary on the class of our culture.
The caste system. Yeah. It's wild. Next page, we see the first mention of religion. You don't take a priest to do you, which. Yeah.
I thought that was interesting too. I thought about that too. Like religion in a society like this, that feels like, especially with like the uprising and like the loss of all that data, why would that come back?
It never seems to go away.
Oh, well. There's a conversation, a way of like thinking about this that I saw Ricky Gervais said to Stephen Colbert on, one of the times he was on the show about how if you were to take and burn every book, get rid of all the information that we have, the science would all come back exactly the same way it is right now.
Right.
But the religion would be completely different. And so that really makes me wonder, like, how and why would religion stick around in a society like this unless religion was brought into it and just never left?
But also to your point, a priest could just be a priest. We don't know what religion that is.
Well, true. We don't know. Like, it could be like a religion that came up within the silo, like whatever. Because she asks Marnes, what do you believe happens when we die? And I think that that's a really interesting point because, like, as humans, we're still going to be curious about that because that's something we can never know for sure until we die. And in my view, you still don't even know then because you become worm food.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I thought that was a really interesting thing to bring into the story there. But then we learn what we discussed earlier about Donald, her husband, who was Marnes' best friend. And I do wonder, and I don't know if at this point we'll ever get an answer to it, but I wonder if there was any love triangle situation between the three of them.
I think they kind of hinted at that, with Jahns dead now. I don't believe they're ever going to revisit that, but they kind of hint at that, like how he was in love with her and, she was like, they were best friends. And I think that was kind of one of those things that whether or not she had feelings for him back then, I think they definitely imply that there was an attraction back then.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But I wish we could learn more about that. But like you said, I don't think we ever will go back and visit that. But then we get to the pigs and the other animals. And moving on down, we're talking about chits and the merchants barking their best deals. What I really loved about this chapter here was that it's just kind of them going through the market area. Mm-hmm. And it feels so alive. It feels so genuine.
I was thinking about that as well.
Yeah, I love this man's writing. He is really, really good at painting a picture.
Mm-hmm. The market, though, again, brings back the idea of like, there's an economy here. There is that class, that caste system of like, you need to sell stuff so you can become richer, so you can do better, so you can like have a bigger dormitory or whatever it is. And like, I don't like that this sort of world has that, but I'm accepting that suspension of disbelief for the commentary that it makes, and also how it sets up the different struggles between the different, characters and levels and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And honestly, that's probably how it would really be too. Even though
unfortunately, you're probably right.
Like idealistically, we would like to think that they wouldn't have money in a society like this when we're like thinking about it in intellectual way. But the reality is humans are greedy fuckers, and that's probably what would happen.
And I wonder, you're absolutely right. And it makes me wonder if there's like these people hawking their wares. Is there a better life for them? Like, can they move up in the caste system? Can they move to the next floor? Can they move to the next subset of apartments? It's a strange
we know that
thing.
that Juliet changed where she was supposed to be headed. She was supposed to be a nurse, and
but she went
the
down.
medical field. And true, but she chose to change where she was, and so people can choose whether or not they'll be successful is a different story. But people can
sounds
choose
like Knox
to
trying to
change
break
where
her.
they are.
Yeah, totally. I wanted to point out this passage here. Pretend, just as a hypothetical, mind you, that people lived in those ancient above ground silos poking up over the hillside. I love the way that's said.
Yeah, that she referenced them as silos.
Yeah, not buildings. I mean, why would you know the word building? That's perfect.
She doesn't know those
really
are skyscrapers.
Yeah. What kind of weird word is that? Actually, you think of the word skyscraper is actually a pretty cool word.
Yeah, I've thought about that before. You know, the it's so tall it's scraping the sky. It's cool.
Yeah, it's a really, really neat imagery. Then we move on. I wanted to point out the color of the IDs. I thought was an interesting little detail about the world. The mechanical shows the ID. It's blue colored, and they show theirs and they're gold, which seems like a pass to everywhere in the silo with the exception of IT.
Yeah, right. What color is IT's badges?
I want to, like, is that platinum? What you got there? I want to know. I wanted to take a look at Knox for a second. The voice so gruff, the words were indistinguishable from one another. I couldn't help but think about the character from Waterboy. No, the assistance coach. Oh, you've never seen Waterboy?
I saw it like on a bus in high school going somewhere, and I thought it was so stupid, and I did not enjoy it.
It's terrible.
I finished it.
It's terrible. But the point is that there's this coach that nobody actually understands him. He's that's how he speaks. And they all kind of pretend to understand him. And it's just, I couldn't not think of that character especially when they actually wrote his dialogue.
All one word for, what he says. I was kind of thinking like that's interesting that like you think of it as like that character, which is probably true. But I was thinking it was more of like a way that they had to talk to each other in mechanical based on the culture of living down there, which also brings up the idea of, these different areas where you don't travel, they're going to have slightly different cultures. They're going to have different
I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, right? Because down in mechanical, you don't really go up. So you have your way of talking, maybe even accents, honestly. Like they might have a different accent because they talk to each other in a certain way down there. Different slang. They definitely have different slang, especially like for the things that they do and like being able to communicate that way. And Juliet kind of talks about that, touches on that towards the end in her chapter, like when that perspective shifts on that last chapter of the section, how like that is her community. Those are the people she breaks bread with every day. Yeah. And
she even says, I'll always be mechanical, even when she accepts the offer. It's like, it doesn't matter what I do. I'm always going to be mechanical. Like I love her loyalty. Yeah. Fantastic.
I also think that's going to make her a really good sheriff, as they were saying, like she has now the connection to that down deep, and she's going to be moving up top, and that's going to bring it all together. And I think that can make her an exceptional sheriff. And I'm really excited for you to see where that goes.
I'm really looking forward to that. This is where she sees the oil pump, by the way. It bothers me that it said that Marnes laughed in a patronizing, uniquely manly way. Like, let's everybody calm the fuck down right now.
I was thinking about that too.
Why are you throwing hooks like that? Come on.
Well, I mean, I kind of liked it.
I hear because I know the laugh.
Yeah.
It's
me
unfortunate,
too. Like,
but I do.
The way he wrote that, like I knew exactly what it was. Like
same, but I didn't want to know that. I didn't want it to come from Marnes. I think that's my problem.
I get that, but I kind of liked it because it just shows this human nature, but also like the fact that she forgave him the moment he put his hand on her shoulder, because it showed like he didn't mean it.
It wasn't actually patronizing. It wasn't in a
I think of you as an inferior sort of thing. It was just like a kind of a gut reaction of, oh, you didn't know that? But I love you anyway. You're fantastic.
Yeah,
there's so much more to you
when you phrase it like that
than not knowing this.
Okay. All right. I can get on board with that. But the way it was put out, I was like, come on, Marnes, you're better than that. Don't be like that.
Mm-hmm. I think of it like he kind of saw it as like, oh, that's so adorable sort of way.
Yeah.
Like, it's adorable that, of course, all these other things. You're a great mayor. Yes. I look up to you. I respect you. And it's adorable that you don't know these things, because why would you?
Yeah, it's kind of cute. You're right. All right. I'll let him slide.
But honestly, I like that Hugh Howey wrote that, because it's, especially as a white male author, really kind of bringing in that injection of like, us guys sometimes don't really think about the way we come across to women and the way we talk to them. And I like that he kind of like has this little like, I see it. Here's an example of it. It's not a big part of it, but it's just a little tiny bit to kind of, give you that sense of, we as men could do better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. So then they go on to talk about how loud the generator is. And I don't know if you've ever been in a power plant before. I know I mentioned this last episode, but my dad used to work at the Department of Water and Power. So we would go down sometimes to the office in which the generators and pumps and everything were. And this whole scene is so on point. It's wild. I mean, this man has been in a room like that. I have no doubt in my mind that he has been in a room.
I thought the way he described it, I felt like I understood. Like I felt like I could be there. Like when she's talking about like putting your fingers on it and like vibrates your hand to numbness instantly. Yes. Just all the visual about like, taking the headphones off and being wary about taking them off because it was so loud, and on how it like you feel it in your soul.
So this is where we actually meet Jules. And the moment we met her, the brown braid, the working on the engine covered in grease, first thought that came to my mind, going back to Firefly, I thought Kaylee. And then I realized, oh shit, her name is Jewel. I wonder how much of a fan this man is of Firefly. Because there have been a few things that have, somebody says golden, which reminded me of shiny. I already mentioned the fierce hunger, whatever it was. Powerfully hungry. It's like there are a lot of little Firefly things in here. Just little mannerisms, or I'm just curious to know how much this guy likes Firefly, because I feel like there are a lot. I
mean, based on his age, I can say that if he's a fan of sci-fi, which obviously he is, he was probably influenced by that subconsciously or consciously.
Yeah, I just thought it was really. It struck me. I'm like, I wonder if there's a link there.
Mm-hmm.
Jewel being the mechanic. I kind of love it. Mm-hmm. I like the paragraph where she's talking about how it's just millimeters off of balance. Mm-hmm. And she's talking about, well, it could be today, it could be 100 years. It could be, it doesn't matter. The whole thing is just, it's so well said. I really, really appreciate how kind of nonchalant she is about it. It's like, well, it could blow up right now. Like, I don't fucking know. I like her character. I don't know if
nonchalant's the right word, because like she's definitely giving the gravitas of how important it is that this gets fixed. And so I think it's less about nonchalant and more about matter of fact. Like,
fair, but there's a nonchalant way that she puts it forward that it's like, well, it could be right now. It could be in a minute. I don't know. It feels you're absolutely right in the fact that it's more factual than anything else. It's very much her dad.
That clinical detachment. Yeah,
exactly. So, and that's just that kind of,
I got to talk about it.
So there is a level of that clinical detachment that is kind of nonchalant. And that's kind of what I picked up from that paragraph. Like, yes, this is an urgent thing that she's saying. We know this, but it's also kind of like, well, I don't know. It's, could be right now. It really, it made me chuckle a little bit. And then she's a little sharp. She says, I thought I dumbed down my report enough to make it clear. Because apparently, Jahns was the one
I thought that was a little insulting there, but also like it really gets the point across. Like, look, I need you guys to understand how important this is.
It really does. So we find more about Jules. We find that she's kind of a workaholic, and she's really, really good at everything she puts her mind to. There's even a note from Mark that we met earlier. I don't know that we mentioned him, but he warns them, giving her a job. I thought it was Mark. Marck. Yeah. Mark. Nah, Mark, whatever.
I don't know. Anyway, whatever.
But he says, be careful giving her a job because she's going to do it, which I thought was a really fun character trait. It's like, okay, well, yeah, that's good. But also she may just run away a little bit further than run away with it.
She's going to like bury herself in it, right? That means she's going to do like the best she possibly can. She's going to be hyper focused. She's going to be committed to doing that, which is honestly a great thing for somebody to be sheriff.
100%. And I really, and going back to the silo, there's another mention later on that she says, good luck, or excuse me, it's not her that says it. Who is it? Oh, Shirley, Mark's wife. So Shirley says, if that girl moves a level, it'll be down from there into the mines. So there are also mines, which I'm very curious to know more about.
Yeah. I forgot about the mines, and I didn't really pick up on that when I was reading it. But mines really definitely are something that's talked about more. But at the show, I think I don't remember the books getting as into it, but they might, and I just probably forgot. But I remember the show again more recently in my memory. That becomes kind of a big thing. I can't remember what season it is, 1 or 2, but that's a thing that is talked about. That is definitely a big part of this. Like, you got to think about where the minerals and stuff are coming from, which actually reminds me of a thing that I highlighted earlier. And this actually might answer that. They talked about chemicals, and I was thinking, like, hundreds of years into this, after centuries, where does the supply of chemicals come from? Like, yes, certain chemicals can be reused. You process this out of that, and you can store it up, or like maybe this process will create a byproduct of this thing that you can use for whatever. But there are some chemicals that I don't think can really they're not renewable in that same sort of sense. The mines would make a lot of sense that you're going to be getting more than just minerals from there.
Yeah, you'd have
you're going to miss gases or liquids or whatever too.
So that was the other half of the explanation. You got the oil, and now we got the mines. So we have all the material that we could possibly need potentially. I just thought it was a really interesting addition.
You know what I'm thinking right now? Like, clearly this is sci-fi. I think it's funny. A lot of people think of sci-fi as like, oh, it's in space, whereas this is like on Earth, supposedly. But it's the same idea as like a spaceship traveling multiple light years away and having multiple generations living on it, where you have to have all of the things to keep it going. But like in that instance, you don't have mines or oil. It's all has to be what is on the ship, and like everything has to be renewable. I really like the idea. Is it like, I mean, again, I don't know Snowpiercer, but like you were saying, it's kind of like, turn it on its side and it's Snowpiercer, like turn it on its side and it's a spaceship. So I really like that connection to the way these societies are built.
Yeah, that's actually a really, really good point. And I wonder, to that point, if with the chemicals, that kind of feeds into my theory about Bernard, or at least the IT crowd, which I know is a show, but the IT crowd being able to leave the silo. I mean, again, I'm not a chemist, or I don't know anything about where chemicals come through from or anything like that, but I can't imagine everything is going to be found just in this specific area on Earth with this specific mine. It seems highly unlikely that you'd find all the chemicals you could ever need inside. So it kind of does feed into my theory about Bernard, because there seems to be more here than there could otherwise be. I know it's sci-fi and we're supposed to suspend disbelief and all that jazz, but it's an interesting thought, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's
like, I mean, on one hand, I can see what you're saying, and how like, okay, maybe they can like replenish supplies of stuff if they can leave the silo and come back down. Like maybe there's an elevator in some area, like starting in IT, that gets them up to the top.
Yeah.
But also they could have designed it to be like, we only need what we can access, like design it in such a way that the needs of the silo, like you don't need chemical X that you might use for blah, blah, blah. So we're going to find, like, maybe it's going to be hard to get that over hundreds of years. Like, again, if they're intending to make this a long-term thing. So let's design it. So whatever we would need chemical X for, we're going to find an alternative solution of something that is replenishable, renewable, or that we can find in that silo. So I don't know. I think either way is a possibility.
That's a really good point.
One of the things I was thinking about, though, with your theory about like maybe Bernard can leave, keep in mind that like we know there are deadly chemicals or deadly something at the top of the silo right when you leave. That doesn't mean it extends beyond that area, but it at least means if they were to go up and leave immediately, they'd have to have a suit, right? You have to have a suit that didn't fall apart on you and kill you to get far enough away. And like, I don't know, maybe that works, maybe it doesn't, but it's something to consider.
So if we're going that angle with this is really kind of conspiracy theory at this point, you know the answer, I don't. So this is an interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to be diplomatic. I don't know if that's the right word, but like, trying to be careful with my answers.
No, I really, really appreciate it. But if let's step back a second and say that Bernard is the puppet master and he's able to leave and this is an experiment or something to that effect.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine that the area is controlled. I mean, they may be pumping gases into this area. All they see is brown hills. There may be giant machines on the other side that are just pumping poisonous gas into the area. We have no idea. I mean, if this is an experiment, it's very controlled.
This is an idea I have that just popped into my mind that could be true or not, even knowing what I know. I don't know, but I just realized, what if their exhaust is just getting dropped right at the top of the silo of all the manufacturing and stuff. And so that's why it continues to be dangerous, because they're just putting everything that is right on top of where they are.
Oh, that's a hilarious design
honestly
flaw.
That fits knowing what I know
and what I don't
could still fit without me knowing the answer.
Dude, that's fantastic. That's so funny to even think about.
I have no idea.
And actually, to the chemical point, they're obviously studying these chemicals and they could be pulling some in and potentially using them to their advantage. We don't know that either.
Oh yeah, maybe.
So there are a lot of,
or they could be, or maybe they're not really studying the chemicals. Maybe they're putting the chemicals out there.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, there could be. It's so crazy. There are so many potential directions this story could go. So many potential directions. And this is just us talking about,
which is why I was saying this is one of those books I couldn't put down.
Yeah, I can see why.
It kept raising questions that I needed to know the answers to. I couldn't forget about this book like I have so many other books. Hugh Howey just has a way of getting into my head and making me want to know what's coming next.
Yeah. He's
Speaking of what's coming next.
Excellent. Oh, yes. We should probably get back to the book and stop theorizing. So let's see. Where were we? We were talking about the mines. So we had gotten to that. And now we're talking about, we had mentioned how Shirley was talking about if you want to give Jules a job, she'll do it. Or let's see, if you want to give Jules a job, be very careful. And I love that as a personality trait for her. I think that's it. And as you said, it's awesome for a sheriff, an awesome trait. And I wonder, knowing Jahns is going to be gone by the end of this section, they're going to need a mayor as well. I'm not suggesting that she necessarily steps up to a mayor position, but it occurs to me that there could be an issue with Peter Billings just stepping over the sheriff position. And that is so just right out the gate, Bernard has had, oh God, that's not a great response.
Well, I mean, you're right. There needs to be a mayor, right? Like, and we know that it's an elected office.
Yep.
So are they going to have like an emergency election? Or are they going to have like who is second in command, who takes over?
Right. Is it
like,
Marnes?
What is the... Is the deputy next in line for the mayor, or is there another
branch of government?
Like I know, like in U.S. government, like you get pretty far down that rankings to like some pretty obscure people that you wouldn't necessarily expect.
Yeah.
But like the top three are president, vice president, and then what is it? Speaker of the House?
See, I don't even know.
Or is it the Senate majority leader? think it's Speaker of the House. And then I don't know who it is after that, but it's like some secretary or something like that. Yeah,
it gets pretty obscure pretty quick.
So like where is their hierarchy there? Where is that next person down that ranking? Is it, so it's mayor, but then does mayor have an assistant? Is there like a lieutenant mayor or something like that, like a lieutenant governor? Or does it go to sheriff? Does it go to the judge? Or does it go to IT?
Yeah. I mean, that's my concern. Or if it, in our current system, as broken as it is, the judicial would never step into the executive simply for balance and preferential reasons. Yeah. So we can hope that would be the case here, but with IT's fingers being in every pie, it seems that doesn't seem like something that would be built in here. I don't know that, but it concerns me.
If it's an appointed role, who gets to make that appointment? I would imagine the sheriff would get to make that appointment.
Right. So,
but there's currently no sheriff.
Yeah.
I guess Jules is going to be the sheriff, but is she then
officially accept the job?
Sworn in yet?
Oh yeah.
She accepted it, but she hasn't been sworn in yet, right? So like, or maybe the signatures and stuff was her being sworn in. I'm not entirely sure. We'd have to read the next section, I guess, to find out what happens. Happens next year.
Yeah. So getting back to where we are in the book, we had talked about Jules and her snide comment of, I thought I dumbed it down enough for you to understand. And so Jahns, as a solution, announces what they call a power holiday, which that is the most BS thing I've ever heard in my life.
Right.
Come on, guys.
Power holiday. Why do we need a holiday from the power? Like what?
Right?
What?
Yeah, that's such a silly word. And it's something that would absolutely exist in today's world. Like, we're taking a power holiday, trying to put a positive spin on such bullshit. It's just like, it's gross.
even like knowing, like even having read the book before, when I read it through this time, like I think they mentioned the power holiday when they're having the conversation with Juliet down in the mechanical area, but
yeah, that's where it comes up.
When Jahns says it to somebody else closer to the up top, I forget exactly who she says it to, but it's mentioned. Even like having read it before and just like read the section where they talk about the power holiday, it still like felt jarring to me when I heard it. I'm like, what the fuck's a power holiday?
Yeah, it's so
like,
bad.
I know what they're doing, but what is a power holiday? I don't know.
Well, the fact that there's a word for it means that it's happened before.
Right.
Presumably.
Or she came up with it on the fly and it just like worked and everybody bought into it. I'm not sure. But yeah, it does sound like it's maybe something that's been used before, like the brownout, the generator.
Yeah, everyone was a little too calm to not have that be the case.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Although we did skip over like the announcement. Like we just jumped from
that's true,
we're going to do it to it's happening. And so maybe she just phrased it really well, slick sort of like good explanation to get everybody to be like, oh, yeah, okay.
No, that makes sense.
I can get behind this.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Mm-hmm. Fair enough. So obviously the reason that they're doing the power holiday is because the Jules had explained that the generator is millimeters off and eventually it's going to explode, essentially. So she wants to get in there and fix it, turning off the generator, which it's kind of funny with the explanation here. Just going back to Knox for a second, he is described as a massive man, right?
Yeah.
And then like a paragraph below that, she says that she has to squeeze through certain compartments to get to the generator. Like does Knox ever
do that?
That's exactly it. It's like, that seems really inconvenient, dude.
Oh man. Yeah. Oh, poor Knox can't do all the things he needs to do.
It's like, go do it. You're small.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder if they'd prefer smaller people for certain roles down in mechanical.
Yeah, it's kind of like the runners.
But then again, I imagine you need really strong people down in mechanical too. Yes. So you'd probably have like this mix of like
this perfect
tiny
build.
People like Jules and huge people like Knox to do different roles.
Yeah, and then you've got the later on she sends, I think it's a shadow or someone in further into the generator because she can't reach it. So it's just like they get smaller and smaller and smaller. It's like it just cracked me up. It's like, oh no, you can't go there. You're too big.
Yeah.
So moving on, there's this page here where Juliet is talking. She says, the oxygen you breathe, recycle it down here. The toxins you exhale, we pump them back into the earth. So that kind of answers a lot of questions in there.
Oh yeah.
You want me to write up a list of everything oil makes, every piece of plastic, every ounce of rubber, solvents, cleaners, power. I mean, this is a very, very, very thick paragraph of answers. And I love it. Like, thank you, Jules. You're awesome.
I mean, yeah, she's giving an answer to who's she talking to? Probably Jahns at that point. Right?
Yeah, she's talking to Jahns. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So she's giving an answer to Jahns, but she's also giving an answer to the reader because we are curious.
Yeah. And later on, Jahns says, and I don't think you get how pointless these machines are going to become without all these people. Juliet looked away. It was the first time Jahns had seen her flinch. So I just love that little exchange. Like Jahns knows how to lay it down. And I'm so mad at Bernard for taking her out of the picture because I love her as a character. I'm so bummed about it. But that's how I felt about Holston as well. So, But
also, you got to take the people out who are a threat to whatever it is you're trying to do. And she's clearly going to be a threat or would have been a threat. I mean,
she already is rocking the boat. IT. Yeah, 100%. I get the motivation. Well, I don't get the motivation because, I don't know what he's doing. But I get the motivation to remove political opponents. And it's just, oh, God, what a horrible... Ugh. I hate Barnes. Excuse me, not Barnes. I hate
Isn't there a little part later on where she was kind of talking about how she didn't really do anything in her life and it felt good to finally actually matter and make a difference?
Yeah, she's got this really consistent what I would call imposter syndrome. There are a number of entries in this chapter that are very much displaying that because she's always commenting on, I have to make my mark. This place will move on without me. But then there are moments that she feels that she's going to, I'm the only one that can actually do this. So she's got a really interesting dichotomy. And she's definitely got the imposter syndrome, but she's also got that confidence when it matters. She's such a deep character.
Yeah. So she probably hasn't really been a thorn in IT's side because she's been pretty passive. And now suddenly she's like, no, I'm going to actually make a difference. And then that's when IT is like, well, maybe we don't want you around anymore.
Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't read it that way. That's a very, very interesting observation. Huh. Yeah. Maybe this is the time that IT will say IT in general, because it may not have been Bernard. I realize, but for now he's my target because she's now, that's a really interesting, that could very well be.
I mean, Bernard is IT. I don't remember if they really kind of made it as clear here, but it becomes very clear. Bernard is IT. So if you say IT, you're talking about Bernard.
He shadows
that department.
Yeah, okay.
He is the guy. Speaking of Bernard, this is going to change how you view him in the book.
Uh-oh.
Because he's like this short little guy, but I love who plays him in the show. Are you familiar with who it is?
No, I have no idea of the casting here.
Tim Robbins.
Tim Robbins
does such an amazing
Tim Robbins, that's
job.
Shawshank Redemption, yeah?
Exactly. Oh. Really tall motherfucker. Plays this guy who was described in the book as really short.
Oh, dude, I love Tim Robbins. That's interesting.
But he does such a good job at making himself feel like this character.
Okay.
He's so good.
Yeah, I'm so looking forward to watching this after I finish reading it. It sounds like such an intriguing show to me.
Yeah, well, let's hurry up and get through it so you can watch.
Yeah, right. All right, moving on. So jumping back into the book, jumping ahead a few pages, we get to the point where Juliet accepts the offer. And I think the way that she does accept it, she says, I'd love to drop off a peace offering on our way up. The design is much better. And she's talking about going to IT, I believe.
Yeah.
So I love the way
talking about going to IT to drop off a roll of tape that they use that is better tape.
Right. I love the way it's even in her acceptance of the job, not only does she say, yes, I'll take the job, but she very much sidesteps the yes and uses an excuse to drop off better equipment to IT. And I love the way she does this. It cracks me up because she's a pain in the ass, and she's going to continue to be that way. And I love it. I'm all for it.
Not really a spoiler to say, yes, she is going to continue to be a pain in the ass, and I'm all here for it.
Good. But yeah, this is the spot that she says that she will always be mechanical no matter what. And just the last little bit here. I love that Marnes crosses the room to shake her hand. Nice to have you on, boss. Like, he is so determined not to move out of that position, and it cracks me up. His level of determination, really funny. Mm-hmm. So moving on, we've got this is where they give the 10 inches up. So each step pushes herself 10 inches up. So that's how we know the measurement there. That's how I did the calculations for the steps, which I feel like we may be undercalculating because going back to the 2 hours for 20 floors, that's so slow. These can't be 10 to 14 feet tall. These have to be much larger. So this place has to be a half mile or more, right?
Yeah, it's probably even up to a mile deep. Like, I know that in real life, there's at least one structure that goes beyond a mile deep into the earth for like running experiments and stuff like that. So like, it's doable. It's absolutely doable. Mm-hmm.
Wow. And we don't know when this was built. We have to
consider that,
or dug rather.
Yeah, true. And I think we have to consider that, like, between each floor, there's going to be a lot of room for like ventilation and plumbing and stuff like that to really give that spacing between the levels a lot bigger than we're probably imagining.
Yeah, much more than an average building, I'd imagine. So we're probably undershooting it with our earlier conversation by a lot.
Yeah.
But it's insane how deep this must go. And that makes me think the oil rig is drawing oil from probably like around it. I don't know how that works exactly, but they're deep enough for oil, right? I don't know what the depth is, but it's an interesting thought.
I can't spoil it, but that complicates something you're going to learn.
Ooh, I hit it
later.
Hey, that just means I hit the truth. All right, score. Okay, I'll take it.
Well, I mean, kind of. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't want to say anything.
No, let's
move on.
So we're moving up the silo toward IT. And this is just Marnes and Jahns again, because Juliet has stayed to fix the generator, mind you. So there's a paragraph for my book. It's 114, page 114. And it's talking about this young girl sitting on the side of a railing, just dangling her feet, reading a book. And it made the world feel almost eerie, but it was one of those passages that really made me feel drawn into the world. It just really beautifully written, and it felt very real. So I just wanted to bring that up, and it was just a really, really cool moment. And then we're talking about the mid-level deputy station, which we had mentioned earlier. And they're talking about how a cold dinner in near darkness with the smell of 2-chit soap. So that kind of gives us a little bit of a bracket.
2-chit soap.
Yeah, a little bit of a bracket for what the chit
but is that expensive soap or cheap soap? I can't tell.
Within the paragraph, I'm assuming it's cheap. It feels like it's cheap because they're talking about a cold meal near darkness, which I understand is because of the quote unquote power holiday, but it's within that same paragraph. So I can only assume that that's a really cheap soap. So that kind of gives us a 2-cent soap or something like that, something extremely cheap. Yeah. So it gives it
$2 chuck.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe this is a $2 soap still seems, no, that's kind of cheap. Anyway, but again, this is a completely different monetary scale and time. We don't know what inflation looked like before the fallout of whatever happened up top happened, if indeed it did happen.
Yeah. It's going to be a completely different economy, even if whatever the values of things were upstairs, it's going to be completely different values downstairs or in the silo.
Yeah. So this is the next page is where they have their intimate moment, which was very, very sweet. And I made a lot of really nice, kind remarks of their relationship, which is now very tragic.
Because you didn't know it was about that.
Oh, it's so sad.
Whereas my note here is, after like Jahns and Marnes struggled ever upward, exhausted for the third day of climbing, no vibrations or ringing footsteps above or below them, the silo quiet and eerily devoid of life, room enough for 2 old friends, 2 comrades to walk side by side in the crumbling steps of chipping paint, their arms swinging every now and then and very occasionally brushing together. And I wrote, relationship building before breaking our hearts.
Oh, it kills me because all of my notes, I've got little hearts, like in certain areas. I've got little, I love this relationship developing. I love how subtle it is. And it's, this is building up to something larger. Ugh. Then we get to IT. So
Yeah.
And I hate IT because all their lights are on. I mean, no wonder they're using a quarter of the power. I mean, obviously the power, quote unquote, power holiday, which I hate the words, but obviously this is a different scenario because the power holiday is going and the lights are on full even during this time. What are they doing? Why are they so insistent that they run at full tilt? And why does it matter to him, Bernard being him, that the rest is on a low power mode? If he's got full power, why is he bitchy? What's the problem here?
Yeah, true. I don't know. But to go back to the emotional thing, I just wanted to say this part. It's when she fell asleep in his arms when they shared a kiss. Just wanted to mention that right before we get into IT.
It's beautiful.
Weariness in her joints and bones, succumbing to the slumber she didn't want but sorely needed. She slept with a man in her arms for the first time in decades and awoke to a bed familiarly empty, but a heart strangely full. And my note was, this hurts so much to read, or this hurts so much on a reread. Yeah. Knowing what's about to happen.
But it is beautiful on a first read. Like it is so precious on a first read. But now knowing what happens, oh God, it's a killer. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. And then 3 pages later, they're in IT. I didn't note the exact conversation that's happening, but what I highlighted was Bernard smiled. You think you'll outlive another sheriff? See,
I just thought that was a dick move, like just a slight at her age. Which, just a quick diversion here. Going back to age, we did discover that Marnes is 60-ish. How do they keep tabs on time? I mean, we don't know for sure, number one, that this is Earth. We don't know. I mean, there is an observation screen, but again, that could be digitally futzed with. We don't know what a day actually looks like in the silo. It could be 32 hours. It could be 15 hours. We have no idea what kind of schedule whoever's controlling the screen actually created. This is, again, very, very conspiratorial, but we're here in IT and this is a place for it.
Well, this might be a slight spoiler because I don't remember when we learn it in the books versus the show. And I think something came up in what we read already. But they don't, at least the typical people look out that screen. They don't know what the stars are. These bright lights of these dots of light. They don't know what those are. So like, they don't really understand seasons, right? And so like if they didn't, I don't know, maybe they understand seasons, maybe they see snow or something like out there. I'm not really sure. But yes, that's a good point. How do they measure a year? Maybe they, the people who went in there first would have been from outside the silo. So they would have known what a year was. So maybe they just came down with calendars or a concept of a year.
Maybe, but watches don't work.
Stuck around of like 365 days.
Yeah. But I mean, watches don't work. When's midnight? It's just there are so many questions as to age is going to be an extraordinarily relative thing if we don't get an answer to any of these questions, which is whatever. That's just the world that's built, and who cares? It's the time frame we're working in. But it is an interesting thought exercise, I guess.
Yeah. So maybe like their concept of a year has extended over time. Maybe it's like 500 days instead of 365 days. Maybe the 60-year-old man in their time is actually
could be like
70 or 80 in our time.
Exactly. That's exactly my point.
We don't really know. You're right.
It's a strange thing to think about, not having a consistent way to tell the time. As time is a construct that we've completely made up based off of natural elements in the natural world, which it makes us, not having access to that natural world. What does time really mean and or look like? So it's
time is an illusion.
Yeah, exactly.
Lunchtime, doubly so.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just there are so many things that could have been slight alterations to the way that we or they tell time, that it could completely screw up our perception of how old these people are or how young these people are.
Yeah.
Just a simple thought. But you were talking about outliving another sheriff. Let's go back to that.
Yeah. I mean, the next thing he says is, why do I somehow doubt that?
God, see, my comment on that, God, this guy sucks. What a weenie. That was my comment on this. Like, not this mother. This should have been a little more aggressive than that.
Right.
But before that, his introduction or his first word to her is Marie. So, oof. What a douche. What a way to start. Like, he is such a little
Oh yeah.
I don't like this guy at all. And this is where Marnes
mentions her name instead of addressing her as the mayor or something like that,
or last name. Or I just like,
yeah.
This gross guy. And then he's you think Power Holidays is cute, or you think the Power Holiday of yours is cute. Way of getting back at me. It's like, what a child. Like I just God, he's so. But this is where Marnes steps in between them with his hand on the butt of his gun and like, yeah, go Marnes. So I'm glad he's still with us at least.
Yeah. For now.
Yeah, who knows? Hugh Howey seems to like killing off some really well-developed characters. So whatever, we'll see. So we jump to chapter 16.
Don't get too attached to anybody.
Yeah.
I'm not actually like trying to spoil you or say anything. I'm just joking.
No, I know. It seems to be one of those books. Like he's not, what is his name? George R.R. Martin style yet.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's not as bad as George R.R. Martin.
Yeah. But, give him time. He's just getting started. Like 3 of the 5 major characters we've been introduced to are dead now. Like Halston.
Oh yeah.
Halston, Allison,
and
Jahns. Yeah. Like what the hell, dude? He's killing them off faster than he's introducing them. But he's heading home. It's talking about that they're heading home. Rather, they're talking about how the floors are flying past faster, which is such a true
in the next chapter. Yep.
Yeah, such a true thing to life. When you're heading somewhere, it's like, God, this trip is taking forever. It could be a 10-hour drive, and it feels like a 10-hour drive. But when you're heading home, you just kind of get lost in the trip home, and you're home. At least that's it for me. It feels like the way home is always a bit more pleasant and faster because you're just looking forward to being there so much more.
You're familiar.
Yeah, I guess that's probably.
So suddenly, like, how much time is going to pass between each, exit or whatever, in this case, floor. And it's easier to quickly get there at that point. Yeah. Yeah.
So now we have, as they're climbing, there's mention of Peter Billings again, which they just keep dropping his name. So I can't imagine he's not going to become a major issue. She says the adventure that had been a complete success in many ways, which reading that was really good. I'm like, yeah, this was much better than I expected it to turn out. Having read the first and looking at my notes here, I've got my notes kind of divided by page, so I know where I'm looking and whatnot. And when we get to page 123, that we're talking, or excuse me, 120. When we get to page 122, there's a little heart. 123, we're talking about very sweet, starting to concern me how well things are going is my note on that page. So they're talking about how well it's going, and then I look at my notes on page 124. All my notes to the end of this chapter are in caps. Everything is all sweet and nice and this is great and oh no.
I think I mentioned it earlier, but like on the reread, knowing what's about to happen, I kept reading everything with this like, was the target Marnes or Jahns, talking about like drinking from each other's water bottle again. And then like she found herself drinking more and more from his thermos, her own water making noises at her back, her stomach lurching with every landing.
Yeah. Wow.
My note was, oh no.
Yeah. See, like, and first read through, you don't pick that up.
Yeah, you don't. But like what you were saying with Halston, like when he was like his head was throbbing or whatever, and you're like, oh, it's not what you think it is. I'm doing the same thing here. I'm like, oh God, your stomach's not lurching with every step because of like whatever you're thinking.
Or any of that.
Something else.
Yeah.
And then the same page, she squeezed his hand as she thought on this theory, and it filled her with a deep hollowness, a cramp in her gut at all he had silently sacrificed. That's not what the cramp is from, lady. A massive debt to live up to no matter what happened. And then like the next page, her mouth was dry and her stomach churning from so much fluid. No, that's not why. And maybe from a little fear of the journey of being over and done. And I just wrote, oh no. The next page, her stomach felt like it was on fire as she relieved herself, and then we lead into that.
So
the very next one. Do you want to? I have something I want to specifically mention, but I don't want to skip ahead too much. If you want to bring us into this.
Well, the only thing I wanted to mention, which is completely beside the point, is do they have bidets? Like she slid herself onto the adjoining toilet to splash herself clean. Like of all the things in this silo, do they have bidets? I have no idea. Totally beside the point. Please continue with what you were saying, because I just that one little part kind of pulled me out. It's like, wait, what? And then I was back in the emotion of it all. So carry on.
Right. I'm actually going to click on this quote to get into the context.
Yeah, please.
So, as I said, she's trying to swallow but couldn't, and we just get to this line, these series of paragraphs where she's clearly fucked up and dying here. Things were getting darker. Marnes clutched the canteen in one hand, rubbed her hair back with the other. He was blubbering, so sad for some reason, so much more energy than her. She smiled at him and reached for his hand, a miraculous effort. She held his wrist and told him that she loved him, that she had for as long as she could remember. At this point, I am fucking crying. Literally tears running down my face. Like him.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I could not.
Yeah, that was rough.
I wrote that in my note that I was crying.
Yeah.
So hard. And then the last two lines of that chapter, I'll read a little bit before that, but his eyes bright and wrinkled, peering down at her, then turning to the canteen in his hands. The canteen that he had carried, the water and poison meant for him. What a way to end that chapter, man. What a way to just kill off this character we just fell in love with.
Yeah.
That I'm ready to cry right now thinking about it. Oh my God, it was so emotional, so intense. And I fuck you, Hugh Howey. Man, I love you, man, but fuck you.
Yeah, right. So in my book, my big capital letters, WTF, and that motherfucker Bernard. Mm-hmm. Those are my two big notes here. Yes. And it's that is so, it's heart-wrenching. So then we roll on to the final chapter after all of that tragedy and tears. It's talking about, so this is where Juliet has gotten, the reason the power holiday has happened is so that the generator could be shut off and Juliet can fix it. Juliet and team rather, but she's obviously the star. She's talking about how she's keenly aware of the silence, which after all of that noise for years and years and years, you can imagine that, how eerie that would be.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a trip. If you've got my alarm in the morning, we've got this massive outdoor fan that blows in our room every night because both my wife and I love white noise. And on the weekends, we have it automatically shut off at 9 a.m. just in case we're still asleep. It immediately wakes me up.
I was going to say, it's so weird how silence can wake you up.
Yeah, it's a great wake up.
You'd think it should be the other way around, but the lack of sound is just when you're so used to hearing that sound. And your example of the white noise, I'm familiar with and completely understand that.
Yeah.
But then, the entire generator just being silent, that's got to be so eerie
for
and
everybody.
Weird, oh shit!
Imagine that's got to extend floors and floors and floors above. People, this power holiday, suddenly it's become this eerie tomb almost, and everybody they're talking about that passage that I talked about with the little girl. She's sitting there on the edge of the steps. Everybody's already kind of closed themselves in. This is the only little girl they see. So it just becomes this quiet tomb. Nobody's moving around. Nobody's doing anything. There isn't the market going on. It's ugh, how creepy that would be. Just being within the floors that can feel and or hear the generator. There would be this absence of, kind of like what you were saying with the spaceship. Imagine the engines turning off. You're just in this completely insulated, that being space, this being ground, insulated, quiet environment that would just be, I hate the thought of it. I do have a bit of claustrophobia. So parts of this book are they really creep me out and make it very, very strange and kind of scary for me. And I kind of love it. So moving on, I just wanted to point out some of the things she says, moving into the heart of the beast. And that's such a cool way to think about the generator being the heart. It is what the lifeblood of this silo. But going back to the silence, she's also talking about how she couldn't believe the rowdy crew, this extended dysfunctional family of hers could be so perfectly silent. Even the people are quiet. It's I hate it, but I love it. It's so good. It's so well written.
And this is right before she's going to turn the generator on, right? Everything's done. And we're about to see if it all works.
No, she's still in there. Oh yeah, no. So this is at the very end. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So this is at the very end, and the next page, Shirley is standing at the controls. Another little thing. This is the thing that she says golden, which reminded me of Firefly's shiny. Just another little I love it. But this is kind of cool. I really love the way that Shirley handles this. She's at the controls. She believes that it's fully functional. She's ready, and she steps back to let Jules do the honor. It's like kind of her last action as mechanical, and it's such a sweet, heartfelt moment, but also so tense and almost terrifying. It's such a charged moment, and Hugh Howey did such a good job writing that. As
shows how much respect they have for her and why she's going to be great at her job because of how much reverence everybody has. Like, she is in control. She is in charge. She's the one with the ideas. She is the one that they look to for, maybe not guidance, but like guidance in like, what to do with their jobs. Yeah. And they want to give her that, yep, this is your baby. This is your project here. Yeah, you take the reins and you finish it out.
Love it. And it's beautifully, beautifully done. And this goes back to Marnes having identified her as being super diplomatic. And that was part of what drew him toward her, which I love that we're seeing this in action. And we've just met this gal. Like, I love this character already, and we just met her. So I'm so looking forward to seeing her character develop more and become such an iconic part of this book. I can't imagine she's not going to be. So then we get to the point where she actually does flip the switch and turn the generator back on. And I love this part because she freezes basically. And like, oh my God, it didn't work. And then she notices that her crowd, or her family essentially, is excited and cheering it on, and it worked, so it looks like, but she can't hear it. I love the way he explains that and the way that this wraps.
Yeah. Yeah, like the Juliet let go of the ignition and reached for the kill switch, but stopped herself from pressing it. Yeah. There was a noise outside, a powerful hum. Yep. She thought she could feel it through the floor, but not like the vibrations of old. It's already running, somebody yelled.
Yeah, I love that.
So good.
I love that. Love that. But I also have to mention, on near the last page here, she's got her thought of traveling up to the top frightened her more than this project could. But if people like Jahns and Marnes were able to survive, oof. That hit hard.
Yeah, she didn't know yet.
Oh, that's terrible.
She's about to find out, though.
Terrible. Yeah, exactly. And so then the whole thing with the generator happens, and then she finds out, and that's where the chapter ends. And it is so powerful. Like,
something had happened.
A
great and powerful thing had fallen out of alignment, and it had nothing to do with her generator.
So well written. Yeah.
Powerful.
Yeah, that's the best word that I can grab. It was a very powerful moment. So that wraps us for this section. And holy for part smokes, what a section.
Section 3 is called Casting Off.
Yep. For those reading along, we will be reading the entirety of Casting Off. And whether this episode gets split in twine or not, I'm not sure. But it will be handled exactly like this one was, because as Michael suggested, this is the way to do this. Knowing the outcome made a much better conversation. So we're going to do the entirety of Casting Off and split it into as many episodes as we need to. So for those following along, we cannot wait to see you in the next episode after reading the entirety of Casting Off. And that was a ton of fun, man. I'm tragic and sad, and I cried a number of times, and boy, what a ride.
So much fun. And I'm looking forward to the next part. Looking forward to seeing like where this goes and what your thoughts are.
Yeah, likewise, man. Then thank you again for choosing this book, man. I'm having so much fun with it.
Awesome. I look forward to it. Until next time, I guess, right?
Yes, sir. Have a great one, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much for spending your time with us between the covers of today's story. If you'd like to help keep Shelf Indulgence alive and growing, you'll find our Patreon link in the description. Your support helps write the next chapter. A rating or review wherever you listen also helps other readers discover us and means more to me than you know. Most of all, thank you so much for being a part of this journey. I truly hope you'll keep turning the pages with us. Book by book, story by story. We'll see you next time.